What are the strategies that you use when someone is asking you like a question in a Q&A and you don't know how to answer?
Yes.
My question is actually, my family joke that I have excess empathy. So in a business setting, how do I stop myself from having this kind of excess empathy, taking things personally, and also kind of missing the bigger picture because I'm so focused on, your one person's feelings, which is how I spend a lot of my time.
So is this causing a problem to you right now, or people
Not yet,
are
but I can
telling
imagine
you
it
that
would.
this is a problem?
Yeah.
Well,
first off, Fatima, amazing, inspiring words to start. Thank you. I really appreciated that. And the question is for Tara, though. You mentioned competition a minute ago, and I was curious who you see as your competitors, or maybe like indirect competitors, somebody
Sure.
in a similar space but a slightly different product. And then, we all, imposter syndrome's a kind of common obstacle for all of us.
Yeah.
So how do you learn from your competitors and overcome that?
Yeah, that's a great question.
I have something that I want to automate, but I don't know what tool is going to be the best to automate that. I don't know if there are like people that are specialized in this that know like the tools, like the Zapier integrations, things like whatever, certain add-ons for Google Chrome or whatever, but it's really overwhelming to even begin to look at solving that problem. And I know there are so many tools, but just curious, and maybe this is also a struggle that you face, but what have you found to be the best ways of locating those tools?
Honestly, for me,
Basically networking, I mean, seeing what other people are using, if they have these problems, whether it's on a forum or something like that, you found the best success.
that has been really, really helpful for me.
What is your number one favorite automation tool that you could lose all the other tools, but this one you really want and really love?
by the time they get to that stage, they've generally had the idea that they're going to go to the venture capitalists, the dream killers, as I call them, because they're going to sit in front of 10 of us and they're going to be picked to pieces, just like a vulture does when you watch it picking the bones of the kill.
So this is lovely. I'm a fan of this topic as well because I'm in sales, and sales
great.
is about persuasion, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So I think what I'm curious about is what's one mistake that you commonly see people make when they're trying to be persuasive, and what's one recommendation you have to mitigate that?
Oh, that's a lovely question. Thank you.
Where can you draw the line between branding and legacy?
Yeah.
Is there a line there?
Yeah, there is.
I don't have a question. I actually was thinking how to use 100 euros to start Vinobox. Your idea?
How nice, yeah.
Could you buy like 10 bottles of vino and take them into a park?
Sure.
And,
I've done it before. You could do it in the park if you wanted to. There's the Botanic Garden. One of the things I love about Lisbon is there's so many sharing spaces, there's so many co-working spaces. I have my lovely home where we have a huge table where we thrash ideas around, we co-work, I call it co-invent.
Yeah, collaborate.
Yeah, I'd probably do that, yeah.
I have a question similar to proposed and talked just now. If you had $100 or 100 euros, what would you spend on branding or marketing?
No, I prefer the 100,000 if you don't mind, because 100 isn't good. Did you say your name was Cedric?
No, my name is Yev.
What's your company?
I have automation and artificial intelligence.
Tell us about your company, and I'll tell you what I would spend it on if I was you.
That they are not interested, but they fake interest actually, because they are like, I don't know, maybe in some cultures it's not polite to say just no and get away. So they make you lose a lot of time. So for me, for example, that's like the biggest problem, to maybe qualify those leads, which are actually interested, really interested, and which I shouldn't be losing time, because it's very rare someone that says openly, no, listen, this is too expensive, or I'm not interested, or not at this moment.
Yeah, all right, so I'm not interested, not at this moment.
I was interested in the story you told about the guy who sort of these people went cold, and you know, what ended up being one of the takeaways that he actually implemented at the end of that. You mentioned metrics to measure. You know, sometimes once somebody said no, or they've sort of drifted off, I would feel nervous about approaching them again and seeing why didn't this kind of go through. So were there any tips that you've come across on how to move forward with that?
So I have two questions. So in an ideal situation, because some excellent salespeople, they believe they can sell to everybody. But what's your opinion? Do you can really sell to everybody, assuming that your pitch and connection with the client would be perfect? And then, well, so this is like a related question. If not, how do you think we can use better our time qualifying leads? Like, to which potential clients we should dedicate more time?
On your slide, you say collaboratively addressing 4 questions, and then we can only see 3 of them. So I guess one's dropped off the bottom.
You got a little cut off. Do you want to just slide down a little bit? Is that possible?
I assume you have other people working with you, correct?
Yeah, we've got about 50 people on our team.
Okay, so what's your hiring process? Like you hire salespeople, like the common salesperson, or you try to find different backgrounds, like I don't know, psychology or whatever? I don't know.
That's a really good question.
We now have increased competition. We have so many competitors in our space. No matter what space you're talking about, you have at least 10 big competitors. That's the reality of what you're dealing with nowadays, and that's why it's very difficult to scale. But the other side of the medal is that this difficulty of scaling has made us fake. As so beautifully mentioned, we see all the time, you know, we're dealing with prospects, with clients, with partners, even with candidates we're trying to interview. And there's a lot of fakeness around the relationship. People have forgotten how to be honest. We're sort of lost in this mask of pretense of wanting to be a certain way. And I'm over it. So the majority of the work that I do now, obviously I still run Linky Law, but the majority of the work that I do now lies in working directly with executives, directly with entrepreneurs and with their teams in helping them first reconnect to themselves.
So how do you coach the business owners, the entrepreneurs that you are working with? It's also about like they are self-conscious, or also about the business operations themselves? And one more question, how did you get to do it? Like, how did you start and why did you start it?
Okay.
My name is Anju. I have to admit that I've been so many conferences. This is the very unorthodox presentation I have ever seen.
Thank you. I guess, thank you.
Thank you for your honesty. Actually, as an entrepreneur, I couldn't do anything with method. I had to always. I'm kind of person who always been my instinct. But what's interesting here that to me that your one of your product is to advise entrepreneurs how to do their business. So it's like, do you see every person, every entrepreneur with their specific problems? But how do you do that if you don't have any method?
I connect to myself, and in the moment I know what to say. It's really magical, and I don't even know how it works. But I guess this is what you call intuition, but from the moment it just knows, it hits a spot. Sometimes I just say one word and people start crying. And I have no idea what I've just said. But somehow it touches something in someone. And my only priority in anything that I do is just to be honest. Because otherwise, what's the point?
Thank you. Thank you for it.
Does that answer your question? I'm not sure.
No, I think it did.
My question is, you mentioned connect with yourself. So I just wonder, is there something, how do you do that? Is there something that you do when you're in a coaching conversation, maybe physically, or something you think, or how do you connect with yourself in the moment when all of a sudden you reach that word or that question or that thing that really unlocks the coaching conversation that you're having?
That's a very good question.
From it was to also shift my perspective to my own media. I never thought about this. I never, because we are always into buying ads and SEO and everything, but I never thought about my own community and how to leverage that and making them the stars of the community and making them the promoters of my products. So this is something that I got from that, and I don't have a specific question, only something that I came up like ideas is to test and put my photo, my face in the order page. Because people buy when they see a friendly face and they see someone. So it's something that I'm gonna test. Because I like the implementation with the social proof and popping like someone bought in the last 5 days, I did it, but this one.
Yes, of course.
And funny enough, yesterday I wanted to buy a ticket to NOSA Live. And I went on one of the websites which they sell tickets, and I saw the same thing, the social proof, like 33 people bought in the last 10 minutes or so, and tickets are selling fast. And because I know all of this, I was like, should I buy now? Because it's this urgency, it's this social proof. And then I said, no, I know all these marketing tricks. I buy tomorrow. I buy when I have more time, because I don't know about you guys, but being a marketer, it's also a gift and a cure that you become, you become numb to all of these marketing strategies, right?
Yeah, well done for resisting.
Yeah. My question is for Rodrigo, because he has this website and also this business in which he helps people with therapy sessions. How do you get in front of people? Because how do you get your business in front of people? Because I feel that so many of us have different problems and we sometimes are lost and we need therapists. It's the first time that I hear about your website. It's only for Portuguese, or it's?
We're based in the UK, so our main markets are the UK, the US, and some Middle East countries as well.
My question is to Rodrigo to what you just mentioned. Could you be more specific? How exactly you find out what your audience were searching for, where and how much and so on?
I'm curious about how you think about the dichotomy or the trade-off perhaps between the amount of content and the quality of the content. As you all know, I did the talk on sales. So, my background and several of those in my company, we come from companies that did zero marketing, and all of it was sales and how you sell. And that's, kind of the roots of how we built our business, was just developing yourself and selling really well. But we're actually developing more content and putting it out on online for our viewers about sales. So it's just something I'm curious about. Do you try to get as much out as possible, or are you really intentional with having the content be high quality and you're doing it less often? Because obviously you can't. I don't know. Maybe you could do both, I guess. But there's only probably so much you can share at one time. So I don't know. I'm just curious how you think about that.
I started my business in a co-working space a long time ago, and it makes a huge difference. I would like to hear from you how you really think that the co-work can help on expanding business or growing business or starting a business. Like, do you have any example or any case you can share?
Well, I can speak a little bit about.
Are you unable to focus? Are you too focused? So everyone has what I call, we have our baseline, which is when we're good, everything's fine. Whatever deviates from our baseline is something that, okay, red flag.